Hi, I'm Stacey Faust, your sovereign leadership coach, and today we're going to talk about your authority, your decision-making properties, because for so many years, we have been taught to give our authority away, to let our leaders make decisions for us, our teachers, our mentors, our parents, you name it. We have been going outside of ourselves to find out what is right for us, when in reality, we have something inside of us that will tell us what is right for us 100% of the time. And so there's 7 different ways that shows up in our body, and that's one of the things we're going to be talking about today. The other thing is we've been taught to go to our minds to make decisions. And unfortunately, our minds have been programmed at a very early age. From 0 to 7, we are taking in information as truth all the time, even when that information is faulty. And we don't even realize that it's faulty. And so when we go to our minds and weigh out the pros and cons and we try and figure things out, it really doesn't work best for us. What really works best is tuning into our bodies and letting our bodies tell us what's right for us. So the other problem is we get conditioned, and it's super easy to get conditioned because not all of us make decisions the same way. So I grew up in a household where my dad has his emotional authority filled in, and so he's making decisions based on that. And then my mom was a mental projector, and both of those ways of making decisions take just a little bit longer. And so when I'm here with my intuition, my splenic authority, and I know things instantaneously, whether it's right for me or not, here's my parents going, "Stacey, how can you possibly know that that is right for you right now?" And so I started to question how I was making decisions for myself. And I would wait, I would sleep on it. And in doing that, I would just get more and more confused. And so when we understand the way that we are wired to make decisions, we can make decisions that are a lot more clear, a lot more aligned with who we are. Because the truth is, not all of us are wired the same way. And so what's true for one person may not necessarily be true for another. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we're going to dive into the 7 different ways we make decisions. You can go ahead and pull a free profile on my website and just look at your authority to figure out which one is right for you. So we're going to start with emotional authority because most people have emotional authority, 50 to 58%. I've heard like right around 53%. And there is a hierarchy to determining what your authority is. And so if you have this center right here, the solar plexus, the emotional center filled in, that means you have emotional authority. And all types, whether you be a manifester, a generator, manifesting generator, projector, all types except for reflectors can have emotional authority. You just need the center filled in. So your truth is really revealed over time, you guys, not in the moment. You kind of ride this emotional wave because your emotional center is filled in. You really have your own emotions. You're not picking up emotions from other people. So you have this up and down in your emotional wave until clarity arises. And so your power comes from waiting, not rushing, which is so important to understand because most of the time in leadership, we are taught to make quick decisions and that it's important to make quick decisions, but quick decisions aren't necessarily the best for you. You guys are here to make stable decisions, decisions that come from clarity. So if an idea starts to feel better over time, like it gets better and better and better, it's a yes. And if the idea fades or feels off, it's a no. And if it's not clear, it's definitely a no, but it might just be a no, not now. So you could come back and ask yourself that same question in a week or a month or a year from now, and you might get a different answer. But for now, it is a no. So remember, clarity with emotional authority is Never 100%. You're never going to be 100% clear because you're going to want to go to your mind and try and figure it out. But I will tell you, your mind's not going to give you the right answer. And so wait until you're about 80% clear, have 80% clarity. And then when you're pretty darn clear, that is the moment that you can go ahead and move. Have you ever made a decision in the high of excitement or the low of frustration only to regret it the next day? I know that's what happens with emotional authority, because you're not here to make your decisions in a high emotion or a low emotion, but to roll through all of those emotions until you come to this place of clarity where the emotions are not overriding your decision making. That's emotional authority. So wait for that wave to settle, and that's when true clarity emerges. So what I see a lot of times with people with emotional authority is that they do want to rationalize it. And I am going to tell you, no matter what your authority is, we tend to want to go to our minds and make it logical, because sometimes when you land on a decision, it's not logical. It doesn't make sense, and it's really hard to explain. And so we're not here to make logical decisions. We're here to really let it settle into our body and feel into the clarity as much as we can. Your decision is your decision. Your truth is your truth. You're not here to have to explain it to everyone. So just keep that in mind as we talk about this. Next up, we have Sacral Authority, and that is 29 to 34% of the population. This is our generators and manifesting generators only, because as you can see here, the emotional center is not filled in, but the sacral center right here is filled in, and that makes you a pure generator or a pure manifesting generator. And once you understand your sacral authority, you're going to see how clear it really is. Most people that I coach that have sacral authority have kind of tuned out their sacral authority with conditioning. And so it's really important to tap back into that, because your body speaks through sound and sensation. You're going to feel this visceral, this rising up, this yes, or this no, rising down or lowering down or leaning back. So an can feel like, ooh, yes, I want to do that. Or the nope, I don't want anything to do with that. So your response is very magnetic. And the practice is learning to trust it without letting your head override what your body already knows. So teach the people around you to ask you yes, no questions, and you ask yourself yes, no questions, because you actually do better with a yes, no, not multiple choice, not open-ended. And so when you practice this yes, no, you're going to feel the full body yes or the mm-mm. And I'm going to tell you too that if it's not a full body yes, especially with those bigger decisions, it's a no, not now. So anything less than that full body yes is a no, not now. And it might feel like this rising up, this leaning forward, this spark of excitement moving through you. If it's not that full body yes, it is a no. And so the practice for this one, I really suggest asking yourself yes, no questions for a month. Really practice. Ask everyone around you to ask yes, no questions and listen into that gut. Really tune in, because once you do, it's one of the, I think, easiest way for people to make decisions with sacral authority. It's just simple because it's your gut. It's a gut feeling. And you can kind of see how we get conditioned, because people will say, what does your gut say? And only about 30% of us have this gut authority. And so that only works for 30% of us. The rest of us, we have a different way of making decisions. Next, we have splenic authority, and I happen to have splenic authority. 8 to 10% of us, it's manifestors or projectors only. And so you can see the emotional center is not filled in, the sacral center is not filled in, but the splenic center is. And that denotes that that person has splenic authority. So truth here is very spontaneous, very subtle and quiet. It often only speaks once. And I read that in books, but I'm going to tell you, sometimes if it's really important, it's not going to speak to you just one time. It's going to come up over and over and over again. I know this for a fact because when I knew I had breast cancer before anybody else, or I'd gone to the doctor, I tried to ignore it, but it just kept coming back. And so for the important things, it's going to speak to you more than once. It's very fast, it's very instinctual, it's very intuitive. It can show up as this hit out of nowhere, or goosebumps, or butterflies, or this quiet knowing. And that's how it shows up for me, either goosebumps or this quiet knowing that really isn't logical, yet it is undeniably true. It's like, I know that I know that I know. And with Splenic Authority, we're really designed to decide in the moment and not wait, not overthink. Don't hand it over to your mind or anyone else. Our practice is really learning to hear it and trust it before the mind hijacks it. And so we know that we know in that moment. And if nothing arises when you tune in, it's a no for now. And it doesn't mean no forever. It simply means the timing just isn't right now. And you may need to step away and get into your own energy for clarity to arise. And that's really important with a lot of different authorities, especially if you're pretty open and you can see this person only has 2 centers filled in. And so our splenic authority can get overridden by other people's opinions, other people's energy. And so to get away from other people and tap into your intuition is so much better for us, because in the moment we know, but we can get overridden by other people's energy. So step away, ask yourself again, and your intuition will let you know. Splenic authority is an immediate knowing, and the more you trust it, the clearer and stronger it becomes. So when I first learned about this, I was like, wait, what? Intuition? No, I always weigh out the pros and cons. That doesn't work for us. We're not going to get the right answer every time when we go to our minds. And so it's really important to just tap in to that inner knowing. And sometimes inner knowing just drops and we know. And it's not always logical. Again, it's not supposed to be logical. What is right for us, sometimes we can't explain to other people. And that is part of understanding your authority, is that you know it's right for you, but it is really hard to explain to other people. Next, we have ego authority. And now we're getting into more of the rare types, down to 1 to 2%. And you can see that the emotional center is not filled, sacral center is not filled in, and the splenic center is not filled in, but the heart center, the ego center is. And this is just for manifestors and projectors. So for you guys, your decisions come from desire. And it's not about logic at all. Again, it's not about other people's expectations or even your own expectations. Your truth is simple. I want this. I desire this is enough for you. And this one can feel really selfish, you guys, because it's all about desire and willpower. And I just want this. That is how you make decisions. And so for you, it is correct. Your power is your willpower. And it can sound like, I have the will to do this. I want to do this. I want that. And again, to others, it looks impulsive, but to you, it's clear. It isn't reckless at all. So if you've been told by other people, oh my gosh, you make such reckless decisions. No, you don't. This is how you make decisions in alignment with you. This is your higher knowing moving through you. And so your practice is to trust your desire, trust your impulsiveness. Your will knows the way. And then next we have self-projected authority. This again, 1 to 2% projectors only. And again, the emotional center, sacral center, splenic center, ego center are not defined, but the identity center, the G center, is defined. And so your direction comes through your voice, you guys. It's important for you to speak it out. So if you're one of those people that are like, I just need to talk this out loud, yes, that is what you're supposed to do because truth reveals itself in real time as you hear yourself. So clarity comes from the sound of your own voice, not from logic, not from other people. So a great practice for you is number one, really surround yourself with people and spaces that feel good to you. And let other people know that you don't need feedback. You just need a sounding board because I know so many people who are self-projected, they'll start talking to somebody and that person will start giving them advice. That is not what you need. You just need to hear your own voice processing. So the people around you do need to know this. So teaching them that, you don't need advice, you just need that sounding board is so helpful. And you can invite them to reflect back with questions like, how does that feel to you? Does this feel like the right direction to go? Do you love this idea? Because the G Center, Identity Center, is all about the feeling, direction, and the love of yourself, others, and your ideas. And so this is really important. I've had clients, call somebody to reach out so they could process with someone, and they'll leave a message on their voicemail. And before the voicemail is even up, they're like, oh, I already answered my own question, because that is really how your authority works. And so when you give your truth a voice in safe spaces, aligned decisions come quickly and naturally. Your car is a great place to process because it's this closed container where you can talk out loud, and yeah, it's a great place for you to make decisions. And then next we have mental, also called environmental authority. Again, 1 to 2%, projectors only. And again, the emotional center, sacral center, splenic center, heart center, G center are not filled in, but the mind center is filled in. And that denotes mental authority. And your clarity comes from your environment first. And then from speaking things out, especially again with the right people, not the ones who are going to tell you what to do, but the ones that will be the sounding board for you. And this process is very external. It's not internal. Truth reveals itself as you hear yourself reflected back to you. And so your practice, number one, is your environment. So choose environments that feel good and supportive, because your surroundings matter more than anything. Even having a place in your home where you can go and process something that feels good in your bones. And let other people know, again, that you don't need feedback. You just need a sounding board, because wrong input creates this confusion for you. That goes for both self-projected and mental authority. Devil's advocate energy, definitely not for you. You don't always need other people present, because talking out loud to yourself is also correct. Journaling or voice recording, stream of consciousness style can also reveal your clarity. Just remember, this is not about making decisions from your mind. It's about feeling into your truth as it comes through in the right environment, with the right resonance, with the right people. One other thing I want you guys to know, if you have mental authority, is that sometimes you need to speak it out in different environments with different people. And so it can look like to other people that you're asking them for their opinion, they give you their opinion, and then you go ask somebody else. You're not asking for opinions. You're just feeling into the resonance of what you're saying. So again, you may want to explain that to other people, because it can make a difference in them understanding how your decision-making process works. And then our final authority is called Lunar Authority. It's less than 1% of the population. And this is for our reflectors only. And reflectors have no centers filled in whatsoever. So they are completely open. And we'll talk about reflectors more fully another time. But if you're a reflector, you need 28 days. A 28-day cycle to reach clarity for your decisions. And I know that sounds like a long time, but for you, you need to take that time and the world will wait for you, you guys. You don't have to worry about being left behind. I have watched my dad, who has emotional authority, make a decision. And in my mind, I'm like, you need to make that decision now or this is going to pass. But he's like, nope, I need 3 days. And I was just learning about human design at that time. So I allowed him those 3 days. And sure enough, when he was ready to make that decision, everything like just fell into place. So please don't worry that you have to hurry. You're not slow. You guys are synchronized with something much deeper in the world. Your truth is really revealed through time and space and reflection. And during that 28-day cycle, you guys move through these lunar transits, experiencing different energies during that time. You're also experiencing different people, different environments. Just like mental authority, your environment makes all the difference in the world. You need to feel good in your spaces, and the people around you also need to feel good. You can actually get sick if you're in an environment that's toxic or with people who are toxic, so be aware of that. But over time, the decision begins to settle into this yes or no. And so on day 1, it might be a no. On day 10, it's like, I don't know. It's not so much a no anymore. And by day 20, it might be like, ooh, I think I really do want to do this. And by day 28, it's a yes. And if you still don't know at day 28, that just means you might need to do another 28-day cycle. For small decisions, you can really tune in how you feel in the moment. Just like the mental projector, environment is key. So being in the right spaces can help you feel clear, especially on those smaller decisions. So just an authority recap. This is your inner compass, you guys. We're not here to make decisions based on what other people think, other people's opinions. We're not here to make decisions because our leaders told us this is how we need to do it. We're really here to tap in to something much deeper. We are aligned to make decisions that are right for us. And so if you have emotional authority, clarity comes with time. After you ride that emotional wave and the emotions are out of it, you come to this clarity. Sacral authority, it's your gut. Your gut responds with the truth, with an uh-huh or uh-uh. Splenic authority, it's your intuition. It's your instinct that speaks in the present moment, in the now. Ego authority, it's simply your desire. Your desire is your truth. What do you want to do? Self-projected authority, it's your voice. Your voice reveals your direction. Mental authority, it's your environment. Your environment is so important. And when you're in the right environment, your truth will be reflected back to you. And with lunar authority, your clarity unfolds over a lunar cycle. So in closing, when it comes to leadership, it isn't just about knowing our own authority. It's also about honoring the diverse ways that others are designed to lead themselves, how they're designed to decide and make decisions that are right for them. And when we respect our timing and their timing, our clarity, their clarity, our wisdom, their wisdom, and respect each person's authority, we create these teams and relationships and communities and families that thrive. So true leadership is not about controlling, getting people to come to your way of thinking. It's really about alignment. It's about guiding from a place of integrity with our own authority while making space for others to trust and follow theirs. I know this isn't the way that leadership has looked in the past, but we are moving into the new paradigm of leadership where truth comes from within and not from without. It's going to be fun to watch the world come into alignment with authority. And so this is a most important piece right now in moving forward in our cultures. So if you have questions, reach out. I also offer one-on-one sessions to really tune in and understand how you're designed to make decisions, how you're designed to move forward, your strengths. So check out my Sovereign Signature appointment. I'd love to meet with you. Thanks for tuning in.